If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes. The duties of a teacher are neither few nor small, but they elevate the mind and give energy to the character. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Your heart is slightly bigger than the average human heart, but that's because you're a teacher. Teachers can change lives with just the right mix of chalk and challenges. Teaching is the greatest act of optimism. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Students, don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It is not what is poured into a student that counts, but what is planted. Teachers have 3 loves: love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the first 2 loves together. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. Education doesn't just make us smarter, it makes us whole. Teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts is best. I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. I like a teacher who gives you something to take home to think about besides homework. I have learned silence from the talkative, toleration from the intolerant, and kindness from the unkind. Yet, strange, I am ungrateful to those teachers. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. A teacher who is attempting to teach without inspiring the pupil with a desire to learn is hammering on cold iron. Good teachers know how to bring out the best in students. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Change is the end result of all true learning. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. The learning process continues until the day you die. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. They know enough who know how to learn. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. They cannot stop me. I will get my education if it is in the home, school, or any place. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Closes a prison. Education is the ability to meet life situations. Learning starts with failure. The first failure is the beginning of education. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Education consists mainly of what we have unlearned. If you have to put someone on a pedestal.
Good evening, everybody. Could you please confirm if I'm audible? Please put a yes in the chat if I'm audible. All right, thank you. Good evening once again. Thank you all for registering and attending this national level online faculty development program on outcome-based education and application of generative AI in teaching and research, jointly organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, the ITAC of University of Engineering and Management, Jaipur, Rajasthan, and the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, ITAC of Nirmala College, Muatupura, Autonomous Kerala in association with IPSR Solutions Limited. Today, we would like to welcome the resource person, Dr. Sunil Job, who is the Associate Professor and Director, Educational Research and Development, Marriott College, Kuttikkanam Autonomous, Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions Limited. And we would like to welcome all the FTP participants of today. Now, about this FTP, this is a one-week FTP program with live timings from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We started FTP from yesterday, and today is our second day of the FTP. Now, fee for the LMS access and processing of certificate is rupees 400. All the participants who are paid the processing fee will receive the LMS access, the video recordings for all the days, and provision to download your FTP completion certificate. The procedure for receiving the certificate will be informed to you towards the end of the FTP. If any of you are yet to make the payment, you can make the payment of rupees 400 to the account details I have put in the chat. If you are unable to attend any of the live sessions, they will be available in the LMS. We have shared the LMS access details through email to those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp till early evening today. And those who have shared the payment proof in later than that will receive the LMS access details by later the day or by tomorrow. If you have any trouble in attending the WebEx online session, you can also join the YouTube live session that is there, the link which I've put in the chat. Now, my name is 𝐬𝐧𝐥𝐢𝐧𝐞. I'm working as Global Relations Manager with IPSR Solutions Limited, and I will be the event moderator. Now, coming on to today's FTP technical session, the topic is going to be architecture of OBE and design of outcomes. This is going to be delivered by Dr. Sunil Job, KA, who's the Chief of Academic Solutions, IPSR, and Associate Professor and Director, Educational Research and Development, Marriott College, Kuttikkanam Autonomous. Now, Dr. Sunil Job has over 30 years of teaching experience and 10 years plus years in corporate consultancy. He holds a PhD in mathematical education and has been an associate professor at MG University since 1999. Previously, he served as associate professor at Karnala Rani Training College. Dr. Sunil Job has contributed as a visiting member of MCTE and a resource person for MG University's Affiliation Committee, a prolific blogger on IT, education, and data science. He has authored numerous academic books and articles. Currently, he serves as Associate Professor and Director of Educational Research and Development at Marriott College and Chief of Academics at IPSR Solutions Limited. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sujan, for this wonderful introduction. So before I start, I think, am I audible, Sujan?
Is yes, there any... you're audible.
Thank you. So, good evening, all. This is our second day of our long journey. We have a 1 week ahead to discuss about the possibilities of outcome-based educations. And the more important is that how we can make this outcome-based education a successful journey when we integrate the possibilities of generative AI and what are the solutions. And in the upcoming sections, we have many wonderful sections to come, like what is happening globally. We have got some use cases which has been shared by this Professor Thomas Verghese from Canada, his Canadian experiences, because in the Western countries, this outcome-based education is much ahead, and what are their experiences and what are their placings and what are their, how do they go along with outcome-based educations. So you will be getting a lot of updates from a global scenario. And also we will be drilling deeper into the possibilities of what you could say that generative AI, how we can effectively integrate the possibility of generative AI in bringing a harmony in the classroom environment, and to what extent that we can depend upon this generative AI. Actually, if you because all of us are interacting with this generative AI for every piece of information. Obviously, now we have got a a drastic change is there. That is, we are depending on generative AI for many reasons and many activities. But the fact is that 80% that we get from this generative AI solutions are rubbish. That is only about 10 to 20% will be quite relevant for our requirement. The problem is that how we can interact with this generative AI, what is prompting, and how can we make an effective prompting to get the maximum effectiveness from the solutions that we get from generative AI. All these things are something very important. How can we make a rapport of what we are doing and the solutions that has been suggested by generative AI? All these things are something very important when you're taking this generative AI to the mainstream as a support system to your activities. And to what extent that we can rely on generative AI for research purposes. All these things are great concerns, because now we have a lot of this plagiarism testing softwares, which even test these solutions that we derive from generative AI will be blacklisted by some of the journals. So to what extent that we can depend upon and how we can go along with that. All these things are the matter of concerns in the current contemporary scenarios. So you will be getting a complete solutions because the Suresh Nambudiri, who is giving sections on that, will be taking you through the different possibilities, which is very important. So a lot of good thing is going to happen this week, throughout this week. And also what we have, I've already mentioned, because I'm the person who have introduced to you about what is going to happen in this FTP. As I've suggested, this is an asynchronized mode that we are using. That is, our live section is from 7 to 9 is there. And obviously, about 30% of learning can be spanned from this live sections. And we have a lot of a research, a treasure trove of informations where you have the possibility for what you could say, hands-on activities could be available from the LMS. So those who have availed LMS, what I suggest is that you have to make the maximum utilization of that, because a lot of activities are showcased there. We have got a lot of tools, automated tools for these practices. A lot of effective resources are available in the form of white papers, prototype, this what you could say, this outcome calculation tool is available there. So a lot is there. So I suggest that those who have availed, only those who have availed will be getting access to that, should use it to its maximum. And we have a lot of a task connecting some authentic situations in an outcome-based scenario that will make you more competent in this line. So you will be giving life to our outcome-based solutions through the LMS also. So that is important. And as I've told that all the sections which we are doing in the live from 7 to 9 will be available there, because it can happen that because all of you may not be able to sit all the 7 to 9 type because of your heavy schedule. So if it happens that you miss something, it will be available there, or in between the sections. If we have didn't get some of the area of our discussions, that also will be available there. So and also we have two good this what you could say a forum running in the LMS. One is a doubt clearance forum, the doubts related to outcome-based education and whatever we discuss, that could be posted there to get a multi-dimensional solutions from both the peers, your friends, as well as from the resource persons who will be visiting there. And also one forum which is there is regarding your innovative solutions, because now we are in a platform where we go with innovations. And that is something very important when we are weighing our quality from this NAC perspectives, accreditation perspectives. All these innovations are important. So obviously the innovations grow only when we share. So there is a platform for that where we are where these participants may be able to share your innovative experiences that they are having, and the issues related to the innovations also could be posted there. So you could have wonderful experiences if you are participating in this section wholeheartedly. I think not for the sake of a certificate. If you are wholeheartedly, there are a lot of things which are showcased in a win-win situation. So you can take the maximum opportunity from that. So referring to what we have discussed last day, we had some beautiful reflections. Reflections in the sense we already know what is Bloom's taxonomy. So I didn't say that it is a new learning. It is only reflecting on what we have learned and whether to check whether there is any gap in between what we have learned. And if so, to fill those gaps. So that was my effort last day. We had we drilled into the cognitive domains of what Benjamin Bloom has suggested, and also we have taken you to more granular level, like how to make this concept live through different questions, how to frame questions at each of the level, and I've showcased that what is the difference of a question which comes at the remembering level and what it comes at an application level, and how the knowledge grows when you move from lower level to higher level, and at the highest, how creativity happens. That is, you have to go with some because we know that for normally what we give importance is our paper pencil test that we conduct as the semester end exams. At the semester end exams, we can have only up to an analytical level or even some evaluation level will work, but we cannot ask the students to create a new model in a 2-hour or 3-hour paper. So that is something project. That is why we are integrating a project in our academia. So this is something very important. If you are giving for an examinations, the questions could be from both the conceptual level, first 2 level, then it can come to application and even analytical level. And some cases you can go up to evaluation level and not more than that. So for higher order assessments, we need authentic assessments, which could be done through minor or major project or capstone project. All these things are very important. So if you want to test the students against creativity, that cannot be tested in a what you could say in a paper, semester end examination space. And because the creativity is something which the student have the patent. So that should be evaluated through defense only, not by a scheme of evaluation. So such things. So it is for that we are using project demo. So we should have a clarity on what we have given to the students, and in what situation that will be effective, and what is the weight of the curriculum load that we are giving to the students. All these things could be clear when we go with this Bloom's taxonomy. So that is why I told that just some reflections on the Bloom's taxonomy to boost up our knowledge and to fill up the gaps that were there in our previous knowledge. So today, as we have already discussed, I'll be taking you through what you could say the architecture of outcome-based education. So it's important that if you we should not be a practicing outcome-based educational professional. I mean, just to practice outcome-based education, that's not. We should take the outcome-based education to, that is the spirit of outcome-based education should come to us. So that is why these elements are important. That is, if you take the spirit of outcome-based education by knowing what exactly the outcome-based education is, and then whatever we do in these lines will be outcome-based. So that is something very important. Not to figure out that, okay, then outcome-based education should have PO, PSO. I have to get some statement, PO, PSO. I have to do some clerical work like that. No, that's not the way that you should approach outcome-based education. You could take the essence of outcome-based education, what it stands for, and how it get operated, and what is its significance. All these things will give life to the outcome-based education. Then only when you implement outcome-based education in your this college or in your teaching learning platforms that will become effective. So that becomes meaningful only when you know about the conceptual framework of outcome-based education. So in this segment, we will be taking you through that particular area on the architecture of outcome-based education. So I think we can move with our section for today. Actually, what told things that I've referred in the introductory remark, all these things are very, very important when we are viewing outcome-based education. Let me switch on to my slides. I've got few slides to share to you so that we can get restricted to our topic. Otherwise, we may go out of when we go with these discussions. So let me share my slides, and I would like to keep this video because at time we have got some issues with connectivity issues when we. So in order to remove that, I'll just skip my video. Okay, Sijin, how is the visibility of?
Yeah, visible.
It's okay.
Please proceed.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So this is our second day, our second section, and we are going with the framework of outcome-based education. So obviously, before going into what we are, it's important to check the menu before we go into our celebrations, right? I referred celebration because a lot of interesting things are there if you are viewing the things in the right side. So what we have for today is that we'll be checking out what and why of outcome-based education. This is something very important because something becomes remarkably good only when we weigh it in the frame of why it is important, what's the purpose. So we'll be checking out what and why of outcome-based educations. Then we are going into the architecture of outcome-based education. That's what I referred to as building block of outcome-based educations. So these are the components that comes in the building block or architecture, like program educational objectives, graduate attributes, PO, PSOs, course outcomes. So these are the different components that comes in the framework of outcome-based education. So some demystification. I don't say that it's new again because all of our colleges have a very a lot of that is, we already have all these things there. So what I would like to say is that just to demystify all these things, components, and writing course outcomes. So when we come from a teacher's point of view, our role in the outcome formulation of outcome-based education is a formulation of course outcomes. So how to formulate a course outcome? That is something very important, and also what are the quality check of a this course outcome. And I hope that you are remembering my last day's introductory section before the formal section. In that, what you could say, that inaugural section, I presented that question paper.ai. So in that question paper.ai, actually it's an AI tool which gives you some assistance on how to create question paper. Not only that, it is giving assistance on how to write course outcomes from the course syllabus, or how to create syllabus from course outcomes. All these things are AI integrated. So you can get assistance of that. But the thing is that AI should not be your master. You have to be the master, and AI should be your assistant. So if you want to be the master, you should have clarity on what should be the correct structure of this course outcome. So what the AI suggests you, is it right? You have to finalize it, whether it is good and appropriate for your context. For that, you should have clarity on what is the structural format of a course outcome and how can we write a course outcome. So that is the central theme for today's section. And also, I'll be giving you some criteria on what is a quality check of a good outcome. How can we just certify whether this outcome is good or needs improvement? I don't say it's bad. Every outcomes will be good because you are resourceful in your area. So whether this outcome needs improvement or whether it's a perfect outcome, which no more need any change. And also we'll be just discussing on what is your task for today's segment. That also will be elaborated by the end of this section. So this is the agenda that we are going to have for today. So we can enjoy this one. So the first thing in our agenda was to analyze why OBE. What is the significance of OBE? I have referred this slide to in many of my sections because this is something very important, and I don't say that there is something better than this to convince the importance of outcome-based education. Actually, what you see, and now I would like to say that I want to take the segment in an interactive pattern because last day I've started at only 8:35 or something like that. So though there are many possibility for us to interact, but I didn't take that opportunity because but still I made it to sit you up to 9:25. That is something proven. I know that. So now we have got sufficient time. So we want to take this one as in an interactive pattern. So in between, I'll pose some questions. So you will be answering. You try to answer it in the chat window through your chat. So I'll be monitoring that from my mobile also. So we want to have a common space. So the chat window will be a common space for us to interact. So that you take it in that way. So in few instances, I'll put some questions here. So this is my first question that is given to you. That is, this is a study result. This is a study result on outcome-based education, isn't it? Prior to the outcome-based education. Actually, this chart that you see in your screen is the result of a study made on a group of professionals, made on a group of, actually this is an engineering group. Actually, that was the group which has been studied for this experiment. So this is the status of the students who have completed a professional program. I repeat, status of the students who have completed a 4-year degree program for a professional program, engineering program. This here it showcases two axes, right? One horizontal one, which showcases about the academic performance, whether they have passed or failed. Obviously, those persons who are coming beyond this line is the pass percentage, and below this line, below in the sense to the left of that is those who have failed. So my question is that whether this is a good result, or it is better, I have to quantify that. What is the pass percentage? You can put it in chat. What is the pass percentage? I am looking at chat. Yes, some answers are coming. There is a conflicting answers. 84 is registered, 91 is registered. Okay, you can make it. Let us have a common platform like this. It is not a good result. It is not a good result. Oh yeah, very good. I am happy. I am happy that I won because your participations will boost my energy, isn't it? So so that I can share more. Obviously, I think by seeing this, someone has first written as 84. But the thing is that 84 plus 7, those who are coming to the right of this vertical line is the pass. So 91% of the student has passed. Considering the result alone, we say that it is a good result. Because for a program, we know that there is a possibility that there can be supplementary papers. So on successful completion of 4 years, the students, if you are able to get their degree without any supplementary back papers, definitely it is a good result. 91%. It's a good result. And the second part is that these students, both the past as well as the field, they are put to an experimental situation. What is the experimental situation? They are given with some task, the task related to the professional trade that they have selected for this area of study. Professional trade, some real-time industrial related activities they are given to perform. Isn't it? For the computer science students, they can be a coding or something like that. So some authentic in the sense real-time activities related to the program that they have studied for the long 4 years were given to them. And the pathetic situation is that only 7% total out of 100, only 7% could successfully complete the activities, the industrial related activities that they have been prepared for this long 4 years. So this is the fallacy of our educational system. We are preparing professionals. When they come after +2, they are students. And when they exit from the college, they should have a professional wavelength, who are competent to take the challenges of the trade that they are prepared for. These are professional programs, right? So this is the fallacy of the educational system. So the problem is that, and we know that from the recent headlines and all, many the CEOs of big players, IT companies have been telling that only about 7% of the professionals who are passing out of the Indian universities are job fit. The rest are confused graduates. They have got degree, but they are not. They don't have clarity on how to get into or streamline into their trade-related activities. So the company have to streamline them for a long period of time. They have to waste more resources to streamline or to re-educate these professionals to fit into their professional space. This is something very. So the problem is that there is a gap between the academia and the industry. They are not prepared in an authentic, that means real-time learning spaces. Only some conceptual filling up is been happening in the college. That is the sad realities that we are having in the recent past. So the focus of the outcome-based education is to transfer all these blue area as well as this red area into this green area. What does it mean? What does it mean? I will explain it once again. We were referring success only in terms of what? Our academical progress. So now we are putting another axis, y-axis here. And what is this y-axis? Y-axis is a set of competencies. A set of competencies that make you successful in your life and career. What are these competencies? Not the academical inputs, but together with that academical inputs, we need your to enrich your communication skills. That is important for you. If you are going with the management scenario, communication skill is there. Your problem-solving ability has to be elevated. Your critical thinking has to be there. Your ability to work in a group, to contribute as a leader or as a follower. Likewise, a number of competencies has to be nurtured if you want to fit into the social space or your workspace. So that is why in an outcome-based education, you can see not only the curriculum content, you can see a number of POs showcased like communication competencies, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical thinking, like a number of things. So it is a new axis. And what the real education is that the education should go in this way. That is, should go in this way. In this way means in a slanting way which give priority to the content and priority to the competencies. That is why we want all the students to reach this space. So this is the importance of outcome-based education. So we want, this is their knowledge level, and this is what they're capable of doing with that knowledge. Isn't it? Addressing the competencies through that knowledge. That is also giving importance. That is the outcome-based scenario. I don't think that there is a good slide better than this that could explain what is the importance of outcome-based education. So we want the students not to go along a horizontal path or not to go in a vertical path. We want to go the students in a 45-degree angle, giving priority to both the content, the syllabus, as well as relating the syllabus to their competencies so that they can work together to be competent in what they're capable of knowing academia and doing, relating it to your real-time space. So that exactly is outcome-based education. So with that perception, you can read this one. If you're finding it difficult, just read this, what is given in the red. So I will read it completely. Outcome-based education is a model of education that deviates from traditional focus. The traditional focus is giving priority to that x-axis, academical inputs, isn't it? Deviates from the traditional focus on what the institutions provide to the students in favor of making them demonstrate that they are able to know means knowledge level, your x-axis, and are able to do the set of competencies. They should get nurtured together in a good harmony, in an authentic learning environment. So that is what outcome-based education focuses. So obviously, this is the the principles which has been defined by William Spady. Actually, Spady, he is considered as the father of outcome-based education. He, in his journal, has presented a write-up on outcome-based education, and that has evolved as a innovative teaching learning paradigm that is a revolt against the traditional practices and making the students nurture their competencies along with the knowledge to make them successful in their life. So these are the I had that paper, but now I have not taken it at present. Otherwise, I would have shared it now. This, according to this Spady, these are the 4 principles for outcome-based education. One is clarity of focus. Because yesterday I have just given you a clarity on what is outcome-based education. That is, you are fixing what should be the end result. The end result is the outcome. What the students are capable of doing. That is fixed first. And what you're doing is that you are streamlining all the curricular activities so that by the end of the class or by the end of the course or by the end of the program, this outcome is met. So outcome-based education gives what? A clarity of focus, what we should focus on. That is, I want the students, suppose my last day's class on Bloom's taxonomy, I want you to analyze. By giving a question, I want to analyze what is the cognitive level to Bloom's taxonomy. That was my outcome. And by the end of my class, if you are able to identify what is the level of your question in the Bloom's scale, then that my class outcome will be met, isn't it? My class, after completing the class, I have given you a task to analyze what is the level of the questions which is there in the previous in one of the previous. So that was the test, the indicator to check whether you have reached that outcome, isn't it? So the outcome-based education gives a clarity where to go, isn't it? So when we have a clear-cut destination, what should be, by the end of the class, what the students are capable of doing, all your activities will be constructively aligned so that by the end, the students are capable of doing whatever you have set as outcome priorly. So it brings clarity. And designing down, isn't it? All the activities will be designed down. Design down means will be in accordance with the outcome. Outcome will be the hero. For instance, suppose if I want to take a, I'm residing at Kochi. Suppose if I have to take a flight to Delhi, a domestic flight to Delhi. If the flight time is 10, okay. So what will be my outcome? I have to fly to Delhi at 10 o'clock. So how I could reach there? I will be designing down. If I want to, if the flight takes take off at 10, I have to reach there by 9 to check it. So 1 hour. So I have to reach there. So I'm designing down. 9 o'clock I have to reach there at 9. For my residence, it is Cochin. From there to this airport will be 1 hour, and normally 1 hour by cab. So I have to start at 8 o'clock from my this residence. But in the morning time, there is a possibility of some traffic block is there. So it is better to start 15 minutes earlier. So I have to start at 7:45. So if I want to start at 7:45, I have to get a cab at book a cab at 7:30. Like so, if I want to book the cab at 7:30, I have to get ready. So likewise, I am designing the thing. So this is what is really happening in an outcome-based scenario. In an outcome-based scenario, we will be planning because the end point is clear. Clarity is there. So how to reach the end point, you can design it down. So this is how the curriculum also should be prepared by the teachers who are going in an outcome-based platform. Constructively aligning, the technical name is constructively aligning your activities to the outcome. And your planning is designing down from the end result. And high expectation in the previous, because this class has a good connection with my previous day's class. In the previous day, I've just shown the smiling face of Bloom, and you have read that statement, isn't it? What anybody can learn, isn't it? That is, anybody can learn. That is the essence of that particular remark. So we cannot segregate. We cannot segregate the students with respect to their ability to learn. Everyone is complete in itself, isn't it? So what we have to do is that if you are customizing the learning activities to their level, they will definitely learn. So it has got a high expectation. Everybody will be able to reach the outcome. There is, you cannot categorize X and Y in terms of that. X will reach and Y may not be able to reach. No, both X and Y will reach if you are customizing your teaching learning environment according to the level of X and Y. So high expectations and expanded opportunities. This is something very important. The outcome-based education is just like a closed door. That is, everybody should leave the door complete only after completion, isn't it? Suppose in the Spaddy's article, it is very clearly written that in an outcome-based education, the teacher will not record their marks in ink. They will record their marks through a pencil. What is the difference between ink and pencil? We are not permanently marking it. We want everybody to reach the target which is been defined. The target means outcome-based target. That is a minimum score for that, isn't it? If they have not reached, we cannot leave them as such. Give them an opportunity to relearn or support their learning, isn't it? And we want everyone to cross that minimum level of the outcome. That is important. So expanded opportunities, if they are not able to complete it within the stipulated time, giving them some additional activities and time for them to clear their target. So this is outcome-based education. So outcome-based education wants everyone to complete the target. That is the another important significance of an outcome-based education. So this you can just read this one. What will my students do out there? What the success of outcome-based education is this. What will my students do out there? Out there means in real life situations. It can be in the real life situations or in the job space or in the industrial scenario, whatever it may be. So what will my students do out there in the real world of family, work, and community as a result of what we do in here in my classroom? So what does it emphasizes? That is, there should be a connection. There should be a connectivity with respect to what the students do out there and what the students do in here. What does it mean? So outcome-based education should bridge the gap between the real-time spaces and what you give in the academical setting. So that is important. What is current in the workspace? What is current in the industrial scenario should be actually whatever you give. I would like to put it in this way. That is, whatever activity you give in the class should be a slice, I repeat, a slice of what they are going to experience in their out there. Out there means in the industrial scenario or in the life space, etc. So there should be a clear-cut rapport. That is why when we formulate the curriculum, the opinion of the stakeholder is something important. That is, the curriculum of the outcome-based education is not a rigid stack. It is evolving. It is an evolving stack which always take feedback from the society, stakeholders, in order to know what is the requirement and restructuring the curriculum accordingly. That is something very important. So whatever you give in your whatever classrooms should be connected with whatever they have to go and do out there. So this is something very important, very, very important. That is why, that is, whoever passes out of the Indian universities should be job. They should be employable. That is the main important focus. That's a global focus. That is, we want the students, whatever they are prepared for, they should be validly prepared in order to feed the challenges. That's important. So this is someone, yeah. What is this? This is a paradigm shift in the focus of outcome-based education. The paradigm shift. Obviously, okay, I forgot that you are waiting in on the other side. Please, you can comment on what is it. What is the paradigm shift all about? The traditional educational system. This is the scholar. A student traditionally will be like this, and the student in an outcome-based scenario will be like this. So, what is the paradigm shift? I am just watching my chat. I want you to just put some. Yeah, what is that? Nothing has come so far. Yeah. Dr. Jyoti, good. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Because I want, because I wanted two-way communications, and we know that the distance is a parameter, and technology will be scaling the difference. Okay, so very good. I'm happy because I want some feedback from your part. Then only I will be energized. Okay, so good. I'm very happy. So this is the traditional scholar. We give traditionally our success is counted with respect to the marks that the students score in the exams. Academical soundness. Academical soundness is the weighing scale in the traditional scenario. But now we are weighing the students with respect to what a multiple ability. That is what you have said, that multitaskers. We want the students to be academically sound. No doubt, that is important. The knowledge system, the information system and knowledge should be very sound. But not only that, they have to be creative thinking. You can see that bulb burning, a lit bulb. That means they have to think creatively They have to find solutions to the problem. They have to apply their learning to the real life situations. They should be project management, time bound solutions. They want to react with respect to the time, not lagging, time bound. They have to evaluate. You can see, check out. They should be ability to evaluate the situations. They should be tech savvy. They should know about the newest technologies. They should have the capability to integrate the upcoming technologies with respect to their workspaces, not to dwell in what they have learned in their college days or long back. So updating it, so like that. So they have to be multitaskers. So that is another important scenario. Our contemporary educational system focuses on how they are able to perform. That is why for every accreditation processes, we are valuing the quality of an educational system with respect to the alumni status. That is the student should. That is when can we say that the college is a number one college? That is, a college should be known from the students that they have passed out from the college. They should come out as luminous professionals who are very contributing to the society. The college should be known from their name, isn't it? This is the college where Abdul Kalam has studied. Likewise, the college should be known from the students that they have passed out from the college. That is the worth. Not that they are from this college. The college should be known from the students who are passing out. So that is important, because we can build very beautiful buildings, everything. But more important is that what is the quality of the students passed out of the college? Their positioning will judge the value of the institutions. That is how the new how we value this. What you could say. So now the stakeholders is given prime focus. Whatever that the stakeholders claim or their testimony regarding the institution is being valued, and they give good testimony only when they are able to thrive in any situations from what they have gained from your colleges. So that is something very important, that it should be multitaskers. And obviously, I'm sure that this is please excuse me, I got some throat infections. This is the building block of an outcome-based educational scenario. Obviously, you would have seen this structure in many places. Obviously, in the internet also you have seen. And more important is that in an outcome-based educational scenario, there is obviously every institution will be having a vision and mission. And obviously, the modus of operandi of an institution will be decided by the vision and mission. And below that, if it is an outcome-based, there will be a well-defined program educational objective. And there will be having clearly defined program outcomes and program-specific outcomes. Normally, now we are restricting, when you come to FIUGP scenario, we are restricting it to program outcomes. Otherwise, it will become very difficult to calculate the attainment with respect to PUs. And then we will be having course outcomes. So these are the components, and we'll be discussing on these components in the upcoming slides clearly. And to a block you can see at the either ends. One is development. Development means for developing curriculum, for development of the curriculum, we have to move from top to down. And for assessment, we have to move from bottom to top. That is why there are two arrows which is at the both end, one coming from top to down and the other going from bottom to top. So why top to bottom? Suppose when you are framing the curriculum, what should be considered first? The vision and mission of the college will be guiding their modus of operandi, their priorities. The priorities of the institutions will be decided by the vision and missions. And then by consultation with the stakeholders, they will first define what should be the immediate goals of the program. That is what we can say that program educational objective. So program educational objective, that is the only odd man in an outcome-based family. Others thing are written as outcome. Only odd man is objective. So formulation of curriculum, first we have to set the goal. Goal means immediate goal. Immediate goal, we can call it as objective, because what is the immediate goal means? That is when the student pass out of your institution after completing a graduation, isn't it? What they have to take up in the society, isn't it? Whether they're going for higher education or to get into a career and to get into the society and live in and together with the society. These are the priorities. So these are the educational goals. So identify the educational goals first. So that is the program educational objectives. And with respect to these educational goals, if they want to successfully accomplish these educational goals, what are the competencies that they should gain from your institutions? That is what the curriculum planners have to consider, isn't it? They have first formulated the educational goals. If the students have to actualize these educational goals, what are the competencies that they have to be nurtured? These set of competencies, when they are written in the form of outcome, we can call it as program outcomes. So firstly, they will be identifying the program educational objectives. And with respect to the program educational objectives, they have to identify what are the competencies that you have to nurture in the students. This set of competencies, you can just make a clarity regarding this. The set of competencies that you have to ensure in the students could be considered as graduate attribute. So what is graduate attributes? Firstly, you have defined what are the educational goals. If the student have to actualize these educational goals, what are the takeaways? What are the inputs that you have to ensure in the students? Inputs in the form of what? Competencies, isn't it? So these inputs or the bunch of competencies, we can call it as graduate attribute. For example, if they want to become a professional in the management scenario, obviously, or in any other spheres, what competencies is essential? Communication competence, communication skill or communication competence. So this is a branch of competency. So this competency, we can call it as a graduate attribute. What is another? Problem solving ability, that is a competency. What is another? Ability to work together, isn't it? Cooperation, tolerance, working together. These are competencies for teamwork. So this is a bunch of competencies. So these are the competencies that we have to ensure in the students. So these competencies, this bunch of competencies, we can call it as graduate attribute. I will take that first competency, isn't it? What is that? Communication skill. And if I'm writing it in terms of what the students are capable of doing with respect to these competencies, I will call it as program outcome. So if I take that graduate attribute, communication competence or communication skill, by communication skill, what the students are capable of doing, they will be able to demonstrate the ability in reading, writing, comprehending, then negotiating, making official correspondence. All these things are part of what? Communication skill. So graduate attribute, when they are expanded verbally in terms of what the students are capable of doing, we call it as program outcomes. So the program outcomes are the verbal manifestation of what? The graduate attribute. So obviously, I've seen many getting confused. Graduate attribute. That's actually the same thing. The assets, isn't it? Like problem solving ability or teamwork. All these things is a bunch of competencies. With that, what they're capable of doing will be showcased in program outcomes. So both graduate attributes and program outcomes are what? The bunch of competencies that the students should be able to attain, ensure when they pass out. So that are program outcomes. So when the program outcomes are set, what is next? All that activities you give as a part of the program, I will call it as curriculum, should be constructively aligned so that by the end of the program, the student should have attained these competencies. That is outcome-based education. So you can just check it out. They're coming from top to down. From where did it come? You consulted, identified what should be the goals. From goals, you identified what are the takeaways or inputs you have to ensure in the students. And with respect to the inputs, you have defined what the students are capable of doing with respect to these inputs and how they are attained. They are attained through the different activities and courses, syllabus that you are giving as a part of the program. Isn't it? A long pile is there which will be distributed with respect to different semesters. 6 to 8 semesters are there, isn't it? So different courses will be integrated. So these are the tools in the hands of the teachers to what? Streamline the students to these program outcomes. This is the real course content. So the courses will be identified in terms of these competencies. So formulation is coming from top to down. And finally, what will be the assessment? You have to assess the students with respect to whether they have attained the competencies. POs after the end of the program, COs after the end of the course, intended learning outcome of a class after the end of the class. That is what assessment stands for, isn't it? You have prefixed it first when you formulated. When you formulated the curriculum of the program, you have prefixed POs. When you are fixing your course, you are prefixing the course COs, isn't it? So how assessment? Assessment will go from bottom to top. You are not directly going and assessing the POs. You are assessing the POs in terms of the seminars, assignments, projects, then end semester examinations. A number of assessment activities will be progressing together with the course. So you will be assessing that. On the basis of that, you will be assessing what? You will be competing to what level the course outcomes have been met. And with respect to their score, with respect to the course outcome, we'll be calculating the POs. This is the architecture of outcome distribution. I think this is clear. And next slides will give you some more detailed inputs. I've explained it in a broader sense in when I'm just referring to this structure. Now we will just go and see what is the program educational objectives. Obviously, there is no need for mentioning it further. This is the only outman in the outcome-based scenario, program educational objective. They are nothing but the goal of the program, isn't it? Isn't it? So they are the broad statement that focuses on what the students are expected, objective, expected, because that is futuristic, to attain within first few years. Why first few years? You are preparing the students to take up some immediate responsibility in the society and life and career, not after about 20 or 30 years ahead, isn't it? Immediately. Because a person, when he leaves the college, isn't it, for the first few years, like 2 or 3 years, the major influence of his personality will be what he has gained from his institution. Later, about 15 to 20 years, it is his life experience that redefine him. So what the students have attained 20 years ahead will be through their experience. So while planning the outcome-based education, we will first prioritize on what the students should go and do immediately after leaving the institutions. So it is on that basis these immediate goals, or I will say it as program educational objectives, are assessed. So you can read it. The program educational objectives are focuses on what the students are expected to attain within first few years after completion of the program. And how will you estimate it? First few years, after 2 or 3 years, what they are really doing in life has to be assessed. So in an outcome-based education, when the students pass out of the institution, they should not pass out of your register. In your register, you have to keep in connection. That is why alumni feedback is important. How they are progressing, you have defined them according to your perspective, and what is really happening should be observed, and you have to check whether what you have given to them and what they are really performing, whether there is any connection. If there is not, you have to redefine your curriculum from this feedback. So outcome-based education not only say that formulation is important, giving your classes is important, interactive phase, assessment is important, and more important is that collecting feedback from the alumni on the basis of how they are performing and to make corrections in the curriculum. So an outcome-based educational topology has got 4 components. That is formulation of the curriculum and restructuring of the curriculum. Then executing the curricular activities through your course, as the program of the course, assessment and feedback. And on the basis of the feedback, that the CO's activities, everything has to be revisited and make it live, so that by every year the quality have to keep on enhancing, and your content and your course should become more and more authentic and connected to the life situations, isn't it? That is important. That is why whatever you do, whatever you give in here should have a connectivity to whatever the students do out there. Whether you have given whatever you are given in here and whatever they are doing out there have to be in connected. That is why the outcome-based education should have take inputs from the alumni and the external agencies, and that is there attained through indirect assessments. So when you are going with referring to the assessments, the direct assessments alone will not be considered. You have to take the assessments from both your direct assessments and the indirect, what the stakeholders say about the students' performance, what the students evaluate about themselves is considered in an outcome-based scenario, and that is indirect assessment. And just we are referring to program educational objectives, just a dummy objective which I have just included for your this analysis. This program educational objectives I've just taken. These are 3 a sample, what I could say, the program educational goals. What is the first one? The graduate will be able to demonstrate competencies and leadership to become a professional. When they leave, what they should be able to do out there is they have to become a professional, or they have to become an employee who is working under some employer, or entrepreneur. See, at the height that they go, they should be in a position to generate jobs for the others. Entrepreneur. That is why they are giving importance to the incubation centers with the support of these colleges and institutions. Entrepreneurs leading a successful career. So preparing them for a career or pursuing higher educations. So this is what the students should do immediately when they leave your program. So preparing them for that, whether to take up a job or to get up into as an entrepreneur or to pursue higher educations like that. Our graduate will be able to demonstrate commitment towards preservation of environment and sustainable development of the society. That is important, isn't it? Sustainability values, isn't it? They have to make developments, but in the frame of sustainability. Because after our generations, there are many generations to come. So how we exploit the environment, environment, whether our engineering or whether our activities are sustainable, whether we are giving importance to the sustainable values, whether we are accountable to our environmental preservations, all these values has to be nurtured in the students. And not only that, we are living in and together with the society. It is the society that define ourselves. Our label is something which has been given by that of the society. It is a society that protects us, take care of the welfare. So what is our commitment towards the society? So we are living in and with the society. So we have accountability with the society. So our social accountability has to be nurtured. So that has to be taken care through our education. That has to, because in the I was just listening to the this other introductory. There were some slides which has been playing before starting our. All these things are very interesting. I'm indebted to my father for a living, but to my teacher for living well. And the education is a powerful instrument that elevate us. Elevate us. If you want to elevate the community, isn't it? Community, we need education has got a very powerful, a magical spell that take the society to a greater heights, isn't it? So if you want to, and I've just heard one more statement. Education is something that closes you open the door of education, you'll be closing the door of prison. So the tendency to the crime is that they are not getting the real essence of education, the spirit of education. It is where the education fails, the crime rate too high. So all these things are very significant. It can be philosophical, but it is very, very, very significant thing, the importance of education. So the graduate will pursue lifelong learning. So these are some of the educational objectives that I've just taken a dummy of it only. This is not some standardized thing. The institution have to identify it from their perspective with respect to what is their vision and mission, what they stands for, and what is the stakeholders' requirement. And it is on the basis of that we have to prepare a clear-cut educational objectives. And we know that when the goals is set, what is next? Prepare the students for this goal. For preparation, we have to identify what all competencies will make the students with respect to that particular goal. Making the students with respect to the particular goal, that is important. So you have to identify a set of competencies. So it is from these goals, you are identifying a set of competencies which we will call as graduate attribute. And graduate attribute written in the form of what? Verbal statement that showcases what the students are capable of doing with respect to that particular graduate attribute is the PO. So when we say PO and graduate attribute, both are same to a greater extent. One is the embryo, that is graduate attribute, and the other is the statement which the students are capable of doing with respect to that competency. So ideally, both of them are same, but we could say PO and graduate attribute. So from my previous slide, I have taken this one as a program educational objective, educational goal. What is this? Graduate will be able to demonstrate competency and leadership to become a professional, employer and entrepreneur, leading to a successful career or higher education. So if you are taking this as an educational goal, what set of competencies you can suggest which will prepare the students for this one? So competencies which will prepare the students for this goal, isn't it? Suppose if it is a management institution, okay, what competency you need? If it is a technical institution, isn't it? What competency you have to give priority? You can put it in chat. Let me check it out. I'm just looking. You can just mention any some competence. Okay, critical thinking. Yeah, very good, very good. Critical thinking is coming up. Communication skill. Obviously, if you are preparing a students for a marketing professional, if it is a BBA program, obviously the communication skill, practical knowledge, problem solving ability, teamwork. Oh my God, you are great. I appreciate. So you have got it. So from where this is coming, you are first identifying what should be the educational goals, and on the lines of the educational goal, it is the duty of the institution to filter out what are the competencies which is essential. So these competencies are that we consider as program outcomes. Isn't it? These competencies written in the form of what the students are capable of doing is called program outcomes. So graduate attribute, program outcomes are both are identically same. So it is from the PEO we are identifying what should be the program outcomes for this program. So when we are identifying this program outcome, by the end of the 3-year graduate program or 4-year graduate program, you have to ensure that, I repeat, we have to ensure that these POs are met in the scholars who are leaving out of your institutions. That is outcome-based education. Outcome is identified, and when these students move out, we ensure that the minimum level of this outcome is attained. So these are the set of graduate attributes. The graduate attributes, which will literally we redefine it as program outcomes, which is suggested by UGC. The disciplinary knowledge is there. I don't go deeper into this one, explaining about this. Just you all know all these things very well. So this is just like a buffet. You can identify. This is only some suggestions suggested by UGC. Suggested. You can include more if your area of your program is totally any different. You can include that also as the program outcomes. So program outcomes literally is the set of competencies that you have to ensure in the students when they pass out of your institutions. So normally in an institutions, they can be up to 8 to 10 to 12 competencies will be ideal from different areas. So these are the graduate attributes. And when we come to the engineering program, we have standardized 12 POs. So these POs are taken from this Washington Accord, because we are the members of, we have signed as a member of Washington Accord by 2014 or something like that. So what is significant is that our engineering program should be delivered with respect to graduate attributes. These graduate attributes are having a global standardization. Those countries who are there, who have been in this Washington Accord, all these countries who have signed in that accord will be adopting this set of 12 graduate attributes for their engineering programs. And the positive side is that from the Tier 1 institutions, which has been accredited by NBA, isn't it? Those students who are pursuing, completing the educational program from these institutions, there is no need for any equivalence. They can continue the educations in the other counterpart, those who have signed this Washington Accord, isn't it? Without any equivalence, they can get job or continue the education. So there is a global standardization that has been happening. And they have suggested that these should be the outcomes, and they have to adopt outcome-based education. And now this outcome-based education significance is being considered, and now we have taken this into the entire educational system. Because in the new educational policy, I think Soni sir has very specifically mentioned that there are 40 places where the outcome-based is being mentioned in that draft of new educational policy 2020. So that signifies that it is a mandatory that the outcome-based education, the education should be, that is our modus of operandi of our educational system should follow outcome-based. And the outcome-based, the most important thing is that it is a directional thing which eliminates unwanted activities from our educational stream and focuses the entire curriculum into a 916 curriculum that takes the students to the real core of outcomes. So that is the essence of outcome-based education. So now I've just mentioned that we have been traveling from uh, program educational objectives, and in the light of program educational objectives, we filtered out what are the graduate attributes, and these graduate attributes are nothing but the program outcomes. The graduate attribute defines the program outcomes, isn't it? The program outcomes are that which the student should attain by the end of the program. So in that light, you can just read the program outcomes are refers to what? The knowledge, skill, and attitude that the student should have at the end of the program. So while they complete the 4 years of program, isn't it? The 4 year of educational program, what they have, the program outcomes which we have highlighted priorly, they refers to these program outcomes can be in three forms. One, it can be knowledge. It can be knowledge. Second, it can be skill. And the third one, it can be attitude. That is very beautifully showcased in the previous hour discussions, isn't it? Bloom's taxonomy. Learning is something that leads to change. The change can happen in either in your intellectual level through knowledge, or it can happen in your attitude through what? Values, or it can happen through the way in which you do something, that is psychomotor. So these are the three areas, these are the three pillars of education: knowledge, skill, and attitude. And if you check out graduate attributes, it will be in the form of knowledge, skills, and attitude. I will just check it out, isn't it? Disciplinary knowledge, communication skill, isn't it? The moral and ethical reasoning, sustainability values, all these things are the attitude that we have to imbibe through our education, isn't it? So these are the outcomes. The outcome can be either in the form of a knowledge that you have to stimulate your cognitive level, or it should be in the form of attitude where you have to fine tune your effective domain, or it can be in the form of skills, how you perform some tasks related to whatever be the field, engineering, whatever it may be. So this is the final form of program outcomes. And obviously, program specific outcomes is that normally in an arts and science college, what we for a engineering college, pakka, there is 12 POs. But when you come to an arts and science college, we have got different programs, right? It can be a management program, it can be science, it can be literature, or it can be a computer based programs, what will be. So the program outcomes are the general graduate attribute which is common to all, isn't it? Communication skill is important, isn't it? Ethics is important. Lifelong learning is important to every, irrespective of the domain. So the common attribute, we can showcase it as program outcomes. And that which is specific to the program, technically or specific to the program, we can call it as program specific attribute. Let me take, here we told that these are the engineering POs, isn't it? The first 5 POs are what? Technical capabilities. These are trade specific, isn't it? For engineering knowledge, for computer science, technical engineering knowledge will be different. Mechanical knowledge will be different. For chemical engineering, it will be different. And these are what? The common attributes, common. That is engineering and society. How accountable the engineer should be to the society. Environment and sustainability, individual and teamwork, communication, project management and finance. All these things are some common. So actually, they have showcased it as 12 POs. But in the 12 POs, these 7 of them are common, and 5 of them are subject specific. So subject specific, we call it as PSO, and common, we call it as PO. There is no harm to say if you're considering a single program as a whole, you can consider that as a single lot as a PO. There is no issues. So what you're seeing here is, so these are the set of graduate attributes of the POs, which our college, the college which I'm working with is now is Marine College Kuttikkanam. So these are some of the graduate attributes which our college has been conferring, isn't it? And by the end of the program, according to outcome-based education, every students should have attained these POs that we have showcased priorly when we started the program. So these are the set different communication proficiency in using modern technology, likewise. And how to make the assessments will be discussed in the later classes by Dr. Mendes, and we have got a lot of sections coming. And about the assessments, there are very clear-cut videos, and I have created a lot of write-ups are there, white papers written by me is there available in the LMS. Now we don't have that time to go into those areas, and some areas will be discussed by Dr. Mendes in his section to come. So this is what the sample attainment of graduate attribute by the student who qualifies a program. So this is what we could say that it is priorly what we say that, okay, a mark sheet given to a student, just like that, the assessment sheet given to a student. But now we don't give it as such because it is not wise to give this assessment sheet to the students when they pass out, because when the system is matured, it is okay. Without that, it will have a lot of issues. Suppose for communication skill, if you are giving them a very good score, so this is a scale which will be discussed in the Dr. Mendes class. He will be discussing about the different scales. So this is a scale of 4-point scale from 0, 1, 2, and 3. So out of 3, if you are giving a 2.9 or 2.8 communication skill to the student, and you give them as a just like a mark sheet, if you're giving them their performance sheet, and if they're taking it to the employer, okay, the employer will be happy because you are watching the students for 4 years and you are registering their level of competency in this scale. Okay, for out of 3, it is 2.8. Then you have got a very good communication skill. And if they are if that employer is employing him, and if this guy is not able to write a single correspondence correctly, and even if in a single statement, if he makes 4 or 5 mistakes, isn't it? What will the employer think about the student or the college? It will backfire on the college, because assessment, if you are giving an assessment tool, that assessment tool should be valid. It should measure what it intend to measure correctly. Otherwise, it will backfire on the institution. So at this point of time, this is a record that should be kept in the college in order to make the college-wise assessment, whether the students are going ahead like this. But when you ensure that these assessments are true, only when you are able to get feedback from the alumni about their performance, you can cross-check that whether your assessment and their real performance is going in the same lines. If there is no, what change you have to make, that has to be cleared, and the system has to get matured. And when this your assessment process is become a valid process, then you can issue it. So that is something very important. If you're issuing it, this is like an authentic profile to the students. If they're going for an employment, they will be preparing a profile, isn't it? What does this profile say? Their competencies, their skill set, what they are saying about themselves. But if you're giving such a PO-based sheet to the students, then that is of high value, because you are monitoring the students closely for about 4 years, and you are making direct assessments on the basis of the performance, and you are issuing them a certificate, means it is higher value, like a authentic profile. And if you are confident that your system is correctly measuring this one rightly, then you can issue it. Otherwise, it will backfire. For instance, suppose if you are going to a grocery shop and buy 1 kilo of sugar, 1 kilo, and when you come home, and if you're weighing it in your personal machine, and if it is only about 700 grams, what will be your feeling? That is you will go to the consumer court, or that you will never go to that particular grocery shop again, because that will be blacklisted. Because any measuring tool should be valid. It should measure what it intends to measure, isn't it? So when you are confident that your measuring system, your assessment practices are rightly assessing the real worth of the students, then you can give it to them as otherwise this is just like a document that help you to check whether the things are going in the right way. That is why I am told that this is a directional thing in order to ensure that whether the things are happening in the right way. And when it is validated, you can issue it. So the final assessment in an outcome-based education is there is mark list. The traditional mark list that you're giving to the students will remain as such. That is the x-axis, academical performance, isn't it? This is what the y-axis which I've shown in the first slide. Education has got two-level assessment, two-tier assessment. One, subject-wise score, the same mark sheet that you are giving to the students. Then second, the competency-wise, that is the x-axis that you have seen in the first slide, isn't it? So a set of competencies like domain knowledge, communication skills, etc., 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 to what level they have attained, isn't it? And obviously, if you are finding it difficult that giving marks is not authentic, then you can make a heat map like 70% and above, high achievers. Okay, 50 to 70% moderate achievers, and below 50%. 50% is the target. Below 50, not achieved. So we don't need anyone below 50. Outcome-based education is just like a closed door. We want to ensure that the students have attained our outcome. So we have to take everyone beyond the 50 level, if that was the scale that is suggested by you. So this is how education's POs. Then coming down, these POs are met through the different courses that you have given as a part of the program. So when you're coming to an outcome-based scenario, we have to fix the outcome first. When you started the course, when you started the program, you identified what are the program level outcomes. So far what we are discussing is how the institution identifies the program level outcomes. When you're coming one step down, that is, we are actualizing these program outcomes through the different courses that you provide as a part of the program, isn't it? We have got 6 to 8 semesters are there. First semester, there will be about 5 to 6 courses, and different activities will be there. Second semester like that. So the entire program will be distributed. The different courses will be distributed with the respective different semesters. So when you come to the course level, before we start, what is first? When you start with the program, we identified the POs. When you start with a course, we have to identify what the course level outcomes. So this is a little more macro level, micro level. So what is course level outcome? They are the resultant knowledge and skill the student acquire at the end of the course. Program level is by the end of the program that we have already identified. So when you are given with a course to handle, what is the first thing that you have to ensure? You have to identify what will be the course level outcome. That is, what is the resultant knowledge and the skill, what the students are able to know and able to do on completion of this course has to be identified first. That is CO. So yesterday I have shown you that our question paper.ai, if you are inputting the syllabus, the AI will extract what will be the implicit CEO connected to that, isn't it? Now we have got AI. That is the importance of this workshop. We are integrating all these things to AI, but at this point of time, I am not integrating. I want to give you the essence, and the integration part will happen in the upcoming sections. So the COs are the resultant knowledge and skill the students attain at the end of the course. So while we are defining the COs are domain specific, written using action verb, which are specific, measurable, and can be demonstrated. This is something very important. When you are writing a course outcome, the most important thing is that the course outcome should be written in the form of what the students are capable of doing. I repeat, your course outcome should be written in the form of what the students are capable of doing after completing the course. So the action verb capable of doing has to be showcased. And it is at this point Bloom's taxonomy will help you. You can select the action verb connected to the different levels according to the gravity of the course that you are providing. Suppose if you are giving a higher order learning experience, you can select the learning experiences from that particular level from Bloom's taxonomy level. So you can select the verb from Bloom's taxonomy. And what is the speciality of the verb? They should be specific, observable, and measurable. Observable and measurable. That is something very important. Observable in the sense, suppose if I say explain, that clearly say that what the students are capable of doing. If I say understand, it's not specifically saying what the students are doing. Understand. By understanding, they can do many things. You want to make it specific. What the students are capable of doing, that is what's specific. The students illustrate, the students explain, the student describe, the student solve, the student identify. So these verbs are important while writing the outcome, especially when it comes to a lower level. So this is a, let me check out the time. I have given you a promise that I will not go beyond 9. I will stop it at, now it's 8:30, 8:45, I will stop it. Don't hesitate that this man is taking a lot of time. Because if I want you to get the spirit of outcome-based education, when the spirit of outcome-based education you gain, then whatever you do will be outcome-based. Isn't it? Just like we all practice religion, but if you get the essence of religion, isn't it? Because every religion has got its own essence. That is love of humanity, all these things. If you're getting it, then whatever you do will be religious, isn't it? Not practicing this one. We should not be practicing OBE practices that, okay, PO, like that. Only these things. We should take the essence of outcome-based education through this conceptual framework, and whatever you do will be outcome-based education. Otherwise, you will be hesitated. Oh, whether it is in the line of outcome-based education. I want an external person to check whether it is right, But it is because you have not got the spirit of you didn't capitalize the spirit of outcome-based education. Get this. So all these things are taking you to the essence of outcome-based education. That will give life to the activities that you perform in the lines of OBE. So writing an outcome-based education, you can just check it out. And outcome has got 2 major components, isn't it? This is literally the formula for writing outcome. This formula could be expanded to a course level. We can call it as a CO, course outcome. It can be expanded to program level. We can call it as program outcome. So in the previous slide, we have explained what is the set of competencies, that is the graduate attribute. How can we expand that graduate attribute and write it in the form of a program outcome? Now, we can use this formula. And I think the details will be there in the LMS. In the LMS, my section is there on how to write it, because now we don't have that much of time to include all these things in the section. So that is available there. This is the formula. And using this formula, how can we convert what graduate attribute like communication skill or problem solving ability or creative thinking into a program outcome statement? That will be there. So this is the formula that we are using here, isn't it? That is an action verb plus learning statement. If it is a program outcome, action verb plus graduate attribute, isn't it? That combination is very beautifully explained. You can just check it out there. So this is a simple formula. This is a simple formula for writing an outcome. It should have 2 components, isn't it? The outcome can, when you're going to a class, taking a class, if the class is outcome based, you have to identify what is the outcome of that class. That is intended learning outcome. That is a micro level outcome. If you're going to handle a course, Before starting the course, you have to identify what is the course level outcome that you have to ensure. That is, need to know the intermediate level outcome, course level outcome. And the top level outcome is that before starting the program, you have to identify what is the program level outcome. So there are 3 levels. One, program level. Second, course level. And the third one, micro level. That is, you're going to a class, going to teach a topic, and how to each topic should identify an outcome. And so this, when you're coming to an outcome-based scenario, all these things are centered around the outcome. Outcome is the hero. And this is the outcome at a very grassroots level, micro level, how to identify an outcome. So it should have 2 components, action verb, a learning statement. I'm handling one program at MCA level also at operation research. So it is all about optimization. That is, what is the optimum of optimization of the different operations and to identify the best operation for that particular system. So for that, I'm writing this one, this outcome. I've selected appraise. This is the verb that I've selected. What? Effectiveness of optimization techniques. I'm teaching different optimization techniques in different scenarios. So the effectiveness of the different techniques and in the context is industry. So what does this signify? So each level will take you, suppose if I am taking an introductory class only, introductory class, what is my focus? I want the students to understand something. So for that I will write, okay, the students will be able to explain. When I write explain, that what does it signifies? This explain is something that has been taken from Bloom's taxonomy, which signifies a second K2 level of learning. Suppose if I want my outcome, I want the students to solve the problems. So I will take it a little more higher. I want to apply this concept, solve the problems. So I want to take them to what level? A third level. So here appraise means evaluate. So I am taking the students to a much higher level, 5th level, isn't it? So the Bloom's taxonomy will be able to showcase to what level your outcome will come up to. So I am teaching the students different optimization techniques like simplex methods, transportation algorithms, integer programming, dynamic programming, like the different optimization techniques I am teaching the students, isn't it? So I am giving them a scenario. And I want the students to identify which optimization techniques will best suit that particular scenario. So that is my that is the outcome that I've identified. So for that, I have to take the students, give them the topic, different optimization techniques, give them the concepts. They want to apply it. They want to analyze it with respect to the different scenario. And finally, they have to identify which one is the best. So I want to take the students to that particular level. So what is that outcome? Appraise. What? Optimization techniques. Effectiveness of the optimization techniques. So I'm teaching the learning component is optimization technique. So the students want to appraise the effectiveness of the optimization technique. And I can delimit it to some context. So I am delimiting this outcome to this context. So together, what is this? What is my outcome which I've identified? That is, this is not for a single class. I'm going to take multiple classes, and that can be a course level outcome. And one course level outcome which I've identified is that the students, on completion of my topic, what the students should be capable of doing. Appraise, evaluate what? The effectiveness of optimization technique. That can be a generic outcome. I will further delimit it to in the context of industry. So an outcome has got, you can leave this, outcome should have action verb. The topic or content to which you are teaching, that should be highlighted. And if you need, you can delimit it to the scenario. Together will give you the outcome. What is the outcome? Appraise the effectiveness of the optimization technique in the industry. Once I have set it, after completion of my course, I have to ensure it. That is outcome-based education. So how to ensure it? We have to identify the different pedagogical approaches that takes the students to this outcome. That is outcome-based education. So what pedagogical approaches, all these things are, it's a very big portion that has to be scaled. And AI, generative AI will lead you, which is the best apt for your situations. What intelligent tutoring you can give to the students, that everything will be made clear through these AI-powered solutions. So this is the formula, that is action, verb, and the learning state. Now, I'm just actually I was planning to give you a small exercises to write an outcome and want to cross-check this outcome. So I'm not, because now the time is going beyond, I want to close it at 8:45 and leave the platform for discussions. So these are the verbs which is, you can just read. It is not a good practice. It is not a good practice not to use the following verbs. That do not mean that it is error, isn't it? While you are writing a verb, action verb should be specific, observable, and measurable. Suppose if you are using understand, you do not define what the students are doing. Understand, they will wave their head. That is not a, if understand has got different other specifications like explains. When you understand, he explains. So the outcome should be written more specific manner, isn't it? Appreciate, it is vague. Like know, be familiar, comprehend, study, all these verbs can be avoided if there is another good alternative. Especially when you are writing an micro level intended learning outcome or a course level outcome, it is better to avoid generic verbs, which is not specific and observable. While writing PO, you can write. There is no issues because you are not directly measuring PO. POs are measured through the obtained quality, the obtained CO values, we calculate POs. So this is a practice that makes it. So I will just giving an example. The student will understand democracy. I'm going to take a class on democracy. And what the outcome that I fixed is that students will understand democracy. I want the students to understand democracy. But does it clearly say what the students are capable of doing? No. Understand means they can react in what way? How can you make it observable? They describe the major theories of democracy. I made it pinpoint, isn't it? What the students are capable of doing has to be highlighted. So the first one is an outcome, but the second one is a good outcome because it says what the students are capable of doing. Observable, measurable, specific. Understand, it's okay. I don't say that it is not, it is wrong. It is right. But most, because in the SPADI's original text is specific that the outcome should be measurable. That is measurable in the sense indicators. You have to measure the student's performance through formative evaluation. That is important, isn't it? At each and every time you have to evaluate the students formatively only when you are writing the outcome in an observable pattern, isn't it? The students will study about the impact of cultural diversity. They will study. That is an outcome, but not a good outcome. What they are capable of doing should be showcased. What they should be able to evaluate the impact of cultural diversity in nursing care. They study, okay. Through study, what they are capable of doing should be showcased while writing. The student, okay, but what they through learning what they're capable of doing, explain. So the outcome should showcase that. So this one can be an objective, but this is what the end product, what the students are capable of doing. So we'll be concluding this segment with this one, a quality check of a good outcome. So when you say about a good outcome, it has got four things. One, are they written using action verb? Two, specific, definite, and observable behavior. That is what understand is an action verb, but explain is an action verb which is specific and observable. Whether the action verb is specific and measurable. That is one thing. Then does the language describe the target, student's target rather than teachers? Isn't it? When we say objective, Objective is viewing the same thing from teacher's point of view. Outcome is viewing the same thing from what the students are capable of doing. So while reading an outcome, whether it is clear that what the students are capable of doing is clearly written, then that's okay. So writing outcome should not be from teacher's point of view. It should explain what the students are capable of doing, isn't it? That's the difference between objective. Objective is teachers, what the teacher focuses. But outcome is what the students capable of doing. Same thing viewing from two angles. So the outcome is student-centric. Do the outcome clearly describe the abilities, knowledge, and values, isn't it? Because in the previous outcome that I've shown, appraise what? The effectiveness of optimization technique. I am teaching optimization technique. So whether the learning component is specifically included in the outcome. So the outcome has got two components. One, action verb, and second, learning component. If it is something related to the attitude, whether it is specifically showcased there. So whatever you are implied in that outcome should be specifically showcased. So here the learning outcome, especially when you write course outcomes, it will be learning component should be specifically highlighted. And the third one is that, is it possible to collect accurate and reliable data? Because the real outcome-based education becomes successful in the functional frame only when you should be able to collect evidences about the student's progress. So whether these outcomes, the evidences of these outcomes, I will call it as indicator, could be correctly collected, either through an activity or through an observation or through some other authentic pattern. If all these four things is met, we can call outcome is a good outcome. So action verb, a clearly defined action verb. Second, whether it is written in the form of an objective or from student's point of view, whether your outcome is explaining what the students are capable of doing. Third one, whether the learning part is being perfectly compiled in that outcome. And fourth, whether this outcome could be evaluated, or you can collect evidences about the attainment of the outcome at any stage, whether you can identify any tools or methods by able to ascertain the outcomes. If all these four things are okay, then your outcome is good. So these are some of the examples. What is showcased in the red part is the verb. Then in physics, apply. The students, if they're capable of apply what? The Hooke's law to compute the different types. So this is the learning part and this is the verb part. And by looking at this verb, explain the various principles of organization. I'm introducing the topic for a commerce. I'm introducing the topic of the principles. So after completing the topic, the students will be able to explain. And the next classes will take them to greater height. So by looking at this verb, these verbs are from the Bloom's taxonomical level. By looking at these verbs, you will be able to showcase to what level you are taking the students in the educational ladder, whether it is a conceptual level or you're taking it to an application level, or whether you are, my outcome which I've showcased is taking the students to K5 level. That is, they should get the knowledge, they have developed the competency in applying it, and then analyzing which one is the better for this situation. That is, appraise the effectiveness of the multiple optimization techniques in the industrial scenario. I have set the context. So this is how it should be defined. I have got this is the what it puts the task related to this. Obviously, in the LMS there is standard operational procedures. SOP is there for every task. It will be very beautifully explained, but still I will show. This is a task. You have to write the course. You will be handling any particular course. You can select one of the course. You can write the title of the course. You can write the program. And obviously, you will be having a set of outcomes which has been already written. You can write these outcomes here and you can check whether all these quality statements are met. All these quality statements are met. You can write the first outcome and you can check what one, whether the action verb is observable. If it is okay, you can write yes. Whether it describes the student's target, whether it is perfectly in an outcome format or an objective format, or do it specifically define the learning component, and likewise. If all this says, that means your outcome is a perfect outcome. So below there is a scoring scale, isn't it? If you have got the quality percentage. Quality percentage means if all the 4 is met, 100%. If only 3, 75%. Only 2, 50%. So here you can write the quality percentage with respect to each outcome, and you have to write whether there is a need to improve that outcome. If you want to improve that outcome, anything below 100 you need to improve, isn't it? So just for an appraisal. So this is presented in the form of a lesson activity. There is how you can progress through the lesson activity will be explained in the LMS. There is special videos, very beautiful videos, very beautifully crafted videos are there. You can go and check it out there. So let me check the time. Okay, sorry, 5 minutes additionally I've taken. So I'm concluding this section. Before concluding this section, I didn't give you a thank you. So I'm concluding the section for now, and giving the platform to Sijin. If there is any questions or query, we can take it up.
If you have any questions to Dr. Sunil Job, you can please put it in the chat and we will answer. Dr. Sunil Job will answer it for you. I've seen that there are some people saying that the PPT of yesterday's presentation is not there. The video is there, okay? The PPT as such won't be shared to you. You can get the video of the yesterday's presentation. Those people who want access to LMS, you need to make the payment of rupees 400 to the account details I've put in the chat. Put it again once more. And you need to send the details, the transaction details to the WhatsApp number mentioned there. Then you will get the details, the LMS access details by email to your account.
So, Jana, are you taking this questions which is showcased?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. When setting CEOs and then assessing them, don't you think that it is personified, may change from person to person?
Actually, this CEOs are something which is what you could say is it's a standardized format, but the personification come to the outcome-based principles, expanded opportunities are there. So personifications are taking considerations of this one. What you could say, the students' individual differences should be catered while you are giving them the programs, dealing with the slow learners accordingly. But the thing is that we are preparing the students to face the challenges of the life. So the general CEOs will be taken into considerations, and for the attainment we have to redefine the procedures. The multiple procedures could be adopted, techniques could be adopted. We have to go with the different innovative solutions for these slow learners, fast learners. Catering to the individual differences should be considered. Because when you come to the college level, the students are coming in a more specific level when they come to the college, isn't it? Not at a school level. When they're coming to the degree level, when they're coming to the program level, if the students are not fit for these programs, they will not be entering into that particular level. And now, according to the new education policy, we have given what you could say flexibility by through majors and minors. So the students can have their own selections. When they get into the program or when they get into a course, then the course will have its own outcomes. So now we are giving the freedom to the students. We are giving autonomy to the students to select the courses according to their interest. They can select the majors and minors according to the, but when they get into the course, the courses will be having that format, and the individual differences at that level should be catered through the pedagogical approaches.
Bloom level for UG and PG students, how much level can we go?
The Bloom level is only what I've seen, whether it is you are using it at UG level or PG level. It only showcases on how the knowledge is progressing from the conceptual level to the higher order application as well as to create level. So these levels will be the same, but when you are applying the Bloom's level to the content will keep on varying. And the thing is that once you make some creativity and develop something, there is a cyclic path which is going on, isn't it? When the Newton has firstly identified these principles, and when it is exposed, that will come as the part of the knowledge. And while they're gaining the knowledge, it will come to an understanding level. So but the create level activity will not always be a create level activity. When it comes to a knowledge bank, it will come as a part of the knowledge and will gain it at a conceptual level. There is a cyclic process which always happens. And there is an interesting question that I was just out. Sir, I want to know who is the best, your teacher or yourself? How can I say that I am better than my teachers? I always give respect to all taught me. And the outcome-based education is not something to evaluate the teachers, but to bring clarity in what the teachers are doing. That is the important of outcome-based education. It do not make a challenge. We want to take away the wasteful effort from the teaching learning environment. So, so the teacher want to make the students more and more productive, challenging, and place them in a better social format, which makes them competent to face the challenges of life. So, the outcome-based education is a directional process that directs the teacher's activity. No need to make a comparison between the worth of the teacher. The teacher is really ideal, whether he is in an outcome-based format or whether it's out of the format, if he really inspires you. If he really inspires the students, he will be a good teacher. But outcome-based education is something which has been happening on is practices, how the system is been defined. It is something that has to do with the system, how the system has to operate, taking into consideration of its effectiveness. So always my teachers are my guru, and guru is something that has given light directing in me. And outcome-based education is a technical process which is being instituted into the institutions in order to channelize that activities and to streamline that activities in a better way. Okay, then you please go on. I just checked some information.
What percentage need to be considered for need improvements in COs?
I think anything below 100 needs improvement because that all that for quality has to be maintained, isn't it? It should have a well explained. This action verb should be there. Then it should specifically explain what the students are capable of doing. And thirdly, it should highlight that learning component should be very compiled into that. And also we should have identified what is that evaluation tool that help you to identify whether the student have attained it. So that all these four criteria is important. So anything less than 100 needs improvement. And in the LMS, we have got a very good, right, where we can share not only my opinion, there can be very good opinion from your part. We also give more importance to that rather than mine. So we will be sharing, we will be having good discussions at the forum. Keep the forum live.
As an educator, is it possible to bring an innovation in learning outcomes when education policy is theory-based and not application-oriented? Say, engineering graduates not employable in industry currently.
As an educator, is it possible to bring innovations in learning outcomes when educational policy or theory-based and not applicable? It is not application-oriented. Say, engineering graduates not employable in industry currently. Actually, I couldn't in learning outcomes. The innovations in the learning outcomes will be structurally redefined with respect to the students' pass out. So, as an educator, what we have to do is that we have to bring out innovations. The innovations is something very, very important. We have to bring out innovations in the practices that make the students compatible for the society. That is what in my presentations I've just clearly showcased that what you do in here should be correlated with what you do out there. So this in here and out there should be connected through innovative practices. So that is something very important because every educator should be an innovator just to bring the best out of the students. That is why when you go for accreditation on what are the innovative practices that you integrate into the teaching learning environment is considered very, very important. And it is said that the engineering graduates are not employable in industry currently. That is a fact. That is what I've told that in the current study, it is said that only 93% students who are passing out of the Indian universities are not employable. They are confused graduates. So there is a lot of things that has to be happen. And this outcome-based education is not just like putting a light. It is a gradual process. That is, it will evolve at stage by stage when it progresses. From the feedback that we get from the pass outs, we have to make improvisations in here so that out there will be betterly met. So this is a continuous process, a cyclic process that output should come back as input, and innovations and changes should be brought about in the practices so that our system that we deliver become compatible to the industrial trend, to the space outside.
For direct attainment of COs, we need semester and examination marks, but we couldn't get those marks question-wise from parent university for an affiliated college. Now, how can we complete attainment
Oh, okay, that's a very good question. I appreciate that. Actually, when you come to an outcome-based scenario, the assessment should be taken from both two level. One from direct assessments and one indirect assessments. Indirect assessments is a self-assessment that we give to the students and getting information to what extent that they're capable for performing those tasks related to that assessment that we can give it to survey. And the second part is that we don't get uh, actually the least effective method for CO level attainment calculation is external examinations. So when you're coming to an outcome-based calculations, we give less priority to the external examinations, and we give priority to the outcome-based activities that we provide to the way of different activities like assignments, seminars, then activities beyond authentic assessments. All these things will be taken, and only a small part will be taken from the external examinations. And for the external examinations, we equally distribute the weightage to all the COs. And that discriminating power between these COs will be identified on the basis of the activities that you give as a part of the curriculum. That is, it can be the project, it can be building a portfolio, it can be seminars, it can be assignments, it can be field trip, or any other activities you give as a part of the curriculum will be given more priority. So in your scheme of examinations, probably it can be 30% for internal and 70% for external. For outcome-based calculation, it can get reversed. 70% weightage you can give for the different activities that you give as a part of the curriculum, or OBE-based activities you can integrate, and 30% can be taken from the external examination. That is, freedom is there. So I think now we have crossed 9 o'clock, and it is not fair to keep you waiting for such a long time. So if you have still any more queries, that is something very good. Queries will help us to more about those areas and issues, and we can pool some of the opinion and answers from many of you who are more knowledgeable and expertise, more expertise than myself. So we can share our experiences together, and together we can have the best out of our sections. So I think that you will be contributing in that platform, that LMS you can contribute. We make it very rich. So I'm very happy to be with you for these 2 days. I really enjoyed. You are very that is interactive in my through the chats. I got your pulse. I love to be with you. So enjoy learning. A lot of good things is going to happen in the upcoming sections. So happy learning. Implement the outcome-based education in this spirit, and we can reap the best from this. So okay, thank you all for hearing me for such a long time, and have a pleasant evening. Okay, good night. Sijan, over to you for any other.
Please note, everybody, tomorrow we'll have the session on Beyond Grades, Experience with Outcome-Based Education in a Canadian Institution, which is going to be given by Dr. Thomas Verghese. Please join in at 7 p.m. tomorrow. We will see you then. Thank you again. Please make sure you use the LMS as well for your learning. And we will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Please join in on time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.